mentally ill.
So I was about to call it a texting while driving ban, but John Phillips here, who is a personal injury lawyer, does all kinds of things here in town. You don't like the ban.
I hate the term.
You don't like the term texting and driving ban.
They don't call it a jaywalking ban. They don't call it a ban on going over 70 miles an hour.
Right.
The ban part is a political move trying to make it look like something when they actually did it.
Okay, so long story short here, you don't think this is enough?
I don't think it's near enough if you're going to do it. If you're going to create a regulation that's more than a secondary violation. That's like saying, okay, you've got to get into a wreck before we look and see if there's a texting and driving issue.
Okay, before we get into the particulars, though, I mean, Florida, the 40th state to enact any sort of law. So kind of late in the game here. What's the slowdown? Why, has the feet been dragged, so to speak?
Too little, too late.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because some of the anti-regulation people that just don't want additional regulation are in on it, or whether there's some. I mean, I couldn't imagine the trial lawyers and the insurance lobby are probably all on the same page here.
Right.
Let's regulate it.
Well, to talk on that side of the coin as well, I think it's pretty much common sense, and whether you want the law or not, it should be known that it's very dangerous to text and drive. Why do we need a law to tell us that? I think would be some folks' argument. On the other hand, I guess you need the law for just to have a little bit of punch behind the texting and driving. Let's get beyond the politics of it for a moment. Let's talk about the specifics. How is it enforced? What's going to happen? And what power do police have when it comes to you on your phone texting and driving?
It's what's known as a secondary violation, which is like what seatbelts used to be. When you got pulled over for a seatbelt violation, you had to have done something wrong. You were speeding, oh, you don't have your seatbelt on, we're going to give you that citation. It's going to be like that, although seatbelt's now a primary violation. But it's going to be a secondary violation, meaning you've got to be speeding, you've got to be reckless driving, something else, and then they can give you a fine. And then that fine's only $30.
Okay, so we're on Facebook as well, and this has been a hot topic today. I'm going to ask the question from Kristen Raffaello Booth. She asks, how do they plan to prove someone was texting if it is illegal for a cop to search your phone without a warrant? Where does the proof come in?
The issue is, for the cops probably going to have to see you doing this number to have direct evidence. Otherwise, it's going to be ambiguous. If I'm swerving and all of a sudden, well, I can say, well, look, I was on my navigation looking how to get home or looking how to get to Lou's house.
Sure.
And because we go there all the time.
Absolutely.
And so, that's going to be the problem. And then I would recommend never for a person to hand over their cell phone without a warrant. That's a whole nother issue, and that's where the law isn't defined, and you're going to get into further problems.
Okay, so GPS is still legal to use. Actually, dialing a phone call still legal to use. So tough to differentiate between any of those things. Now, we've got another question. Nathan Gamble asked. Again, we kind of covered this. How will this be enforced? What are the punishments? And can these charges be fought in court?
Any charges can be fought in court. And again, the question is direct evidence. The police are going to pretty much have to show that you were texting, and unless you've been involved in a wreck, it's going to be really hard for them to do. But on the same token, it's only a $30 fine, which is probably the way they're going to incentivize people to pay these penalties. It's going to cost a lot more to go hire me or somebody like me than it is to pay the fine, get the $30 over with.
And we talked about the legality of actually searching through somebody's phone. They can't unless, and there's stipulations, unless there are injuries and perhaps deaths involved. Then that's when you can. Then
that's when you can call AT&T and get the records. And that's if you've got that problem, you've probably either got a criminal defense lawyer or a personal injury lawyer on the other side that's going to do that anyway. Because what's really important to know here is the injuries you see with DUI are akin to what you see, the broken backs and the permanent injuries are what you see with texting and driving. It can happen in an instant, and it's bad.
And we know it's very dangerous. There is a law in the books now, according to John Phillips. Not quite enough yet, but we'll see where that goes. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Awesome time. All right, guys, over to you.